questions. Hello, whoa.
There you go. Thank you, madam. You can direct it at who you like.
Either. I mean, I'm completely new to this. At the age of 61, am I too old to learn?
No, not at all. A lot of people pick it up as a retirement plan. Falconry it takes a lot of time and effort, and a lot of people who have a regular job, not weird people like me and Dave, struggle to find the time to do it. Because you will only ever get out of your bird what you put into your bird. There are species like, for example, a Harris hawk that you can happily just pick up on a weekend and take out and fly, and it will fly for you, and you can ignore it most of the week whilst you go to work. But you'll never unlock that bird's full potential. So at the age of 61, perfect time to start it. Just start, do it. Yeah.
Get on YouTube. Get in. This is what you want to look up, Dave Sharp Falconry. Never mind.
Mercer Falconry.
I will say to that, you can hear me, can't you? I will say to that, one of our key staff members is a key staff member and started at your sort of age, and now she does it for a living every day. She flies display birds every day of all kinds of birds.
But I must warn you, it will take over your whole life. It's not something you, as Dave says, dabble in. You've said that a few times. I've heard him in the past.
Pike fishing is my absolute passion since a kid. I don't know when I really last went fishing.
I thought you were calling me a nasty thing, mate.
You go down a hole of falconry that you, as most of you know, you can never get out of. Or you're a dabbler and you have to go and pack it in, but otherwise you end up, yeah, go for it. Someone over there. Go.
Dan, how do you find now where falconry is all about hunting and providing game, and obviously your side of it is more non-hunting? Dave, even you've started going a little bit soft with the hunting side of it.
I am soft, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think we're starting to get that stage. We've got to respect our prey, but we're always struggling to get ground.
So what's the question? I missed it, really.
Can you see falconry reinventing itself where it's not all about catching game?
Yeah, last one for Dan.
Whoa, I annoy a lot of people with some of my opinions, and here comes one that people do not like. Falconry, I love its definition, its tradition, it's old-fashioned. I don't understand why everybody is so against it expanding its definition to include more things. I understand that the old-fashioned falconers, the old falconers who've been doing it for a very long time, want to protect what they love and what they've done. But why is everybody so against expanding its definition? And the biggest thing...
into lamping because I work 5 days a week. I don't have time to fly my hawk every day like a lot of you lucky guys can. And it's something that it's in my blood. I have to be flying my bird. I have to have my bird as fit as it can be. I need to be taking a good head of quarry every year to know that I'm doing the hawk justice. When you work 10-hour days like me, you start at work in the dark and you come home when it's dark, you're not going to be able to fly a diurnal raptor. So I switched to the lamp. A few friends were doing it. I said, no, it's pretty easy from what I remember. Your hawk was pretty good on the lamp. And I'd fallen victim to the myth that lamping is just a case of mugging rabbits, that you're dazzling them with a high-powered torch and mugging them at your feet. And honestly, it's so far removed from the truth. So Tom Compton and I, we started lamping our hawks 5 or 6 years ago. And since then, we've had a lot of people asking us for advice. We're out maybe 3 nights a week with the hawks, and then I've recently, in the last couple of years, got back into lurchers since you had one when I was a kid, and so I'm out. I'm not at home much at night time. The kit now is so different. It's a completely different game. Being out in the darkness on a farmer's field when all the wildlife is alive, but it's all twitchy. It's waiting for a fox to come along. It's waiting for the gamekeeper to come along with a rifle. Everything is out, but it's all on edge. So the less kit you can carry, the less weight you're carrying, the more efficient you can be, the better it is. So compared to the massive 12-volt batteries that we used to lug around with the massive halogen bulbs, we've now got these super lightweight torches. This is Tommy's torch. It's an O-light. It just looks like a normal torch you'd have when there's a power cut.
It's ripped from that better satisfaction when he's holding it.
Extra pleasure. Rechargeable, like your 12-volt batteries were, but this is a matter of hours. It doesn't weigh a thing, does it? But it's better. So I think this on Tom will probably shout at me and correct me if he's here to heckle me, but I'm pretty sure. Don't shine it in your eyes. Seriously.
How much is it?
It's got I wouldn't. I think on a good night that's an 800-meter range lamp, which is way more than what you need for a hawk. You're sort of looking at rifle ranges now. But it's all about illumination and good illumination. A lot of people don't realise that diurnal raptors' eyesight are much worse than ours in low light conditions. So a simple red light that you might use with a rifle or a dog just doesn't suffice for a bird of prey. You need the best lamp you can get. This is an older one now, an older model, Javelot Pro. I think they're about 200 quid, 260 quid. I might be wrong. I didn't buy it, I just use and abuse it, as Tom knows, with all of his kit. And then here's mine. It's a cheaper alternative, because I'm a cheapskate. A better, don't shine it in people's eyes, because you will get sued. I was going to pass them around to everyone, but I thought it would probably be a legal matter, that someone's retinas are burnt out. Tom's here, he's an adjustable, this has got an adjustable beam. It's just finding the kit that suits you. Like anything, you want something that just suits you and suits all of your needs. Obviously running the dogs, this is what everybody prefers for running dogs at night. That one has a little bit of peripheral beam, which sort of isn't that classic spotlight.
Make it better for the hawk.
Yeah, it can be so much better for the hawk because their eyesight's so bad. So they can actually, especially in the early days, it might take you a long time, despite all your training, for a hawk to actually have the confidence to take a rabbit. Everything looks bigger because of the shadows. And going down a focused beam, it's the same as if you were sprinting down a corridor and you could only see a small focus point at the end, you'd be worried about hitting something on the way, and the hawks definitely feel more comfortable with a peripheral beam. But it does scare away all the nighttime creatures more, I find.
Yeah, I just did this. I just did it on my lawn at home to start with years ago. I just did a rabbit carcass not far away with a torch, so it wasn't so bright on the lawn, and it was instant. They don't take a lot of training, do they?
No.
Call it back to obviously don't call it back blinding the hawk, turning the lamp towards the back of the glove. You're not dazzling it. Well, there he is. you don't know where the hawk is apart from, I'll tell you in a minute, but you're shining up the back of the glove. You can do it with a little torch and a rabbit carcass at real short range, and they do get it quick.
So to train a hawk to the lamp isn't that different to training a hawk in the daytime. You're just using light. It's completely the same as your normal daytime training. So starting on a creant, doing recall work. As your dad mentioned there, shining the lamp onto the back of the glove, which is something I'd only use if I'd lost my head torch. Personally, I prefer a head torch that shines down at the light, and that way I can have my arm stretched well away from my face, usually with a baseball cap on, simply because the bird's eyesight is that bad. Landing is difficult, and no one wants a red tail or a harrisawk smashing them in the face at 1 o'clock in the morning. So using a head torch to recall, never shining the light at the bird. You see it on YouTube videos of lamping with hawks or dogs, when people say they've got a lurcher retrieving a rabbit, will shine this massive powerful light that has millions of candle powers into its eyes. You imagine running into a headlights of a car, which I don't recommend. You wouldn't see the car. You couldn't see where you're going. You'd be completely blinded. So by using a head torch and just focusing on the glove, every now and then, with the head torch, unlike the lamp, you could actually look up. If your hawk's being recalled from a distance, you can look up and see the reflective equipment, so the reflective flying straps like these ones, that basically you can make them out of anything. These are made by Edward Duke, you can find on Facebook. I mean, they're about 3 years old. I didn't clean them, they're still blood stained. But
So just to say, I used to use a little LED clip to my bird's legs. These guys don't use lights on their birds at all. This has just got a reflective strand in there woven into the braided Jessie, flying Jessie, and just the slightest bit of your headlight, like a high-vis jacket.
Yeah, exactly. And you can actually, if you just have normal flying Jessies, if you have an old, I mean they cost 10 a penny, high-vis jacket, and rip off the high-vis material and sort of make a bodged loop Jess that can go into the anklet, that's it, and you'll spot that 1,000 metres away in a lamp.
So, my name is Ursel, the most unpronounceable name here. This is Bentley, our hooded vulture from Africa. I'm just going to let her do her own thing for a minute while I talk. So, yesterday, she flew really well because we had some wind. I'm afraid we haven't got much wind today. I first came into contact with vultures 40 years ago on the Tibetan plateau, where vultures are actually known as wind watchers, because that is what they like to do. They only fly when they can get a good wind, and today we've got nothing. So I'm sorry your first experience today. You're just going to get a sense of the humour and personality of our beloved hooded vulture. So, no one actually interrupted me then and said, how could you look so young when you saw vultures 40 years ago? But yeah, that's another story. Come on. So, Bentley is an old world vulture, which means that she comes from Africa. Old world vultures come from all over Asia. There she goes. All over Asia and Europe. We also have a new world vulture, a turkey vulture, over in our over in the centre there. You can go and have a feast your eyes, and do talk to us about the vulture, because he's absolute darling. He's only 12 weeks old. So she comes from Africa. Now you can see when she's flying around and when she's eating, she has a lovely pink face. When it goes white, that usually means that she's not very happy, usually because of buzzards or something. They're usually flying around. But because she doesn't have a voice box, she has to show her emotions through her face, and so they tend to go really, really pink or really white. And you will also see she has the most amazing little furry head It's very downy fur, and it's I call it the judge's wig. And later I'll come round and actually show you. But this means her job is the clean-up crew. All vultures, they don't kill, they clean up everything. And I started with the head. I don't know why I started with the head. But if this actually has to go up a rear end of a zebra or something like that, it's not going to get dirty. Now, vultures are actually very, very clean animals, even though they are the clean-up crew. But they have... No. She spotted somebody eating something. She's very good at raiding handbags. No. Come on. She's going to have a little look around, and then we'll get her to fly in a minute. So, she's a small vulture, big wingspan. As I say, she needs the wind to fly. She's a wind watcher. But she would go in at the end of a kind of mutilation of a carcass, because the bigger vultures will actually rip the carcass up and do whatever they do, and then the smaller ones go in and go to all those important little places. Bentley, oi, you. She just wants to introduce herself to everyone. Come on, you. Anyway, I'll just keep talking. I've not got long today. So, she comes from South Africa. Now, sadly, she could be extinct within the next 50 to 80 years. And this is because of all the poaching that goes on in Africa. That's the poaching of elephants and rhinos and so on. So elephants and rhinos, when they are killed by poachers, it often takes them about 4 hours to extract the rhino horn or the tusks. Hey, Bentley. No, you're not. She's going off to the tea shop. Come on, you. Hey, come on. Come on, you. Come on. She has been known to raid tea shops and people's handbags, and I think she's just in that mood today. I can tell.
A few moments later.
So, yeah, it takes about 4 hours for the poachers to extract the rhino and the rhino horn and the tusks, during which time, of course, the vultures would all gather round and they would be circling over the carcass. Now, because that actually alerts the authorities, the poachers now actually put poison all over the carcass, and that actually means that the vultures fly down, they put one step on the carcass, and then they are dead instantly. So one elephant can be responsible for 500 vulture deaths. So it's a really, really tragic situation. Their numbers are so decimated now that because they have such great stomach acids and they can destroy things like botulism, anthrax, cholera, rabies, all these diseases, the fact that the vultures now are such small numbers, all these diseases have actually increased.
just seen. This here is the laziest falcon I have ever met. She will hopefully do a bit of flying, but I just want to manage expectations. She's lazy. We'll give it a go. So, just put your hood in, I'll take her hood off. You can sit on that perch there. Sorry, normally I put a piece of food on there. I forgot to. I'm distracted because I'm talking to all these people about you. Are we going to do some flying? Hopefully. So this here is Sky. As I said, she's a falcon. She's a hybrid falcon. She's a Jur crossed with a Lanner. Are you going to rouse? No. Okay. Right. Hopefully she goes through a routine of rouse, poo, and then flight. And today she's just doing it instead. Now, for the non-falconers in the audience, in falconry, we classify birds based on the shape of their wing. And the falcons are classed as a long-winged bird because they have these long, thin, pointed wings. The scientific name of the falcons is falco, which translates into sickle-shaped, referencing those long.
And I was there, I would sit at the side of her in freezing conditions while she fed. Then I decided I've got to have a call to bring her over, but it doesn't mean food and it doesn't mean quarry sighted, because you won't get away, as anybody that's handled an eagle, you won't get away with cheating an eagle. Once you cheat it a couple of times, they lose confidence in you, they lose faith in you. You've cheated them and they know that. So what I used to do on a Sunday morning, with nobody about, I used to take her for a walk and I'd cast her off. Prior to that, on the block, to feed her, before the feeding whistle meant food. Every time I fed her, I give her a whistle. On the block, prior to the whistle, I would shout, come on, come on, come on. That's the expectation of food, but not the actual food itself. So then I'd feed her. So I extended that longer and longer and longer. So when she was on the block and you'd shout, come on, come on, come on, she'd be like that, waiting to go. Then the food whistle came out, then she'd come down. So I used to take her a walk on a Sunday morning and just walk around. If she lagged behind, I'd shout, come on, come on, come on. It would come over. Then I'd leave her, just give her a few seconds, chuck a piece of meat on the floor. Till at the finish, I didn't feed her. I just shouted, come on, come on, come on. And then she'd come over. So that's the call to bring her over. The call, the food whistle is the feed, and hare was the quarry sighted. And that is how our relationship started. Prior to that, don't forget, there was no telemetry, nothing whatsoever. Although an eagle is a big hawk, fine, but when you've got one, I've actually seen her go and disappear to the cloud base there, and she'd come in and out the cloud base. That's how high she used to go. But I wanted her in control. It's all right saying, oh, put them up. I don't want it all over the sky. I wanted it like a falcon, there, waiting to be served. You needed the land, you needed the quarry. But once you've got that, and you've got the eagle where you want it training-wise, you would not believe the stunning sights you see. Everybody here, maybe that's been out with a peregrine falcon, still it's in a teardrop stoop. Beautiful. You watch a 10-pound golden eagle do a teardrop stoop from 2,000 to 3,000 foot. It's a side that lives with you. Never comes out of your head. It's there, and I had 28 wonderful years of that. Got a bit wayward at the end of it, and occasionally we had a walk or two, but it's only because she lost a lift. And if she lost a lift, it would go to the next hillside where there was lift, Windward Hillside. Might be 5 miles away, but that's where they'd end up. I flew her in the high Yorkshire Dales, rabbits. I'd fly her up in Scotland at Blue Hares. I'd fly her on a Pennines at Brown Hares. And this one, I'll just finish with this because I want to bore you to tears, but I used to get an invite every year to a big prestigious estate in Lancashire. And the owners, Miss and Mrs. Duckworth, were real sporting hosts. And he'd had a big shoot the day before, and he said, would you come and fly the Eagle tomorrow? I've got a few guests out. So I said, yes, I will. So I came, I got all my mates as beaters, and I let all Mr. Duckworth's friends, 2 or 3 peers of the realm, the wall at the bottom. So what we did, we walked the hillside, and they could see everything because it was on a big. Oh. Anyway, and she would go down the hillside, and she would power down and then turn back into the wind and come back. Now, unbeknown to me, the keeper had a hare shoot earlier that week and shot about 80 brown hares, so there was hardly an hare on the place. But we carried on, we walked right down the hillside to the bottom. Then as we turned to come back, all she'd do, she'd lose a lift, she'd pick a current up and come back. And a glider came in to the valley. So she left me, I thought, what the hell's going to happen here? I could picture it on the news. The glider crashed into Lancashire. And she went alongside it, she went under it, alongside it, circled it, and went above it. We just sat down and watched. It was about half a mile away, and then she just came powering back. And off we go, we set up again. And she'd been up for an hour and 50 minutes. Never touched down in an hour and 50 minutes. And I was just about to bring her down, or try to, and a good lit friend of mine said, hang on, I spotted a rabbit. And I was over the other side of the breast side of the hill. So I said, I'll tell you when she's right. So I said, right, flush it now. And I just see her come, beautiful teardrops to Chancellor as she came down. Didn't come up again. I thought, she's killed it. I'm going to end up in every Falconry magazine in this country. I'm going to be a hero. Nobody's ever seen like this in the life. How pride comes before a fall. And as I went round the hillside, all the guests are down at the bottom, and she's rolling down with the sheep. Bouncing down the hillside with the sheep. Okay, can you imagine how I felt?
My name is Dylan, I'm from Zimbabwe. We've got Dale, Alex and Henry, the new couple. So Henry's more nervous about today than his wedding last week. That's why I've got to talk. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of modern styles of falconry. They're not falconry reimagined, it's just training aids. So you might be able to use these different things to achieve an objective, but it's not always the means to the end or where it finishes off. What we're going to do first is we're going to do a bullocks with a drag lure, or like I call it a dummy bunny, and I'm going to fly a female Jer Prairie. Her name is Adan, which means the executioner in Arabic, and she was trained on the Rocro for Bali. Once we were finished with Bali, I thought she's quite an aggressive bird, she's an imprint, so I'm going to try give her a go at hares. Obviously Henry's got the eagle, so when he's flying his eagle, I'm going to just take advantage of him flying stilts for me. We'll see how it goes, but for now it's nice to change it up, see how she relates on the flying. I'm going to let these guys go back so they can get the birds ready. Henry's going to operate the bullocks for us. He's got more practice, obviously, flying his eagle. And yeah, what we're trying to simulate is the rabbit jinking. The problem with her at the moment is she does like to bind. I want to teach her how to strike it hard. So we put a couple of changes in. It's only the second time she's had a turn, so last time she landed on the floor and thought, where is it? And we'll see how that goes today. So I'm just going to undo the hook. Okay, Henry, whenever you're ready. Yep. Yeah, great start. The hair got away. There we go. And you can see she stays nice and low. The reason I didn't get a better place at Varley is I didn't use the bullets, but that was really good. You can see how she powers in, and now I'm going to run and go and get it. At least she came back.
Rating, we use these to do the racing, but it's also a training aid for falcons. In my opinion, it's one of the best training aids you've got. Training a bird to a roco is relatively easy. The birds naturally want to chase. It's just a matter of chasing it on the roco to get the roco to do certain things. Now, when you're flying a roco, people actually say, oh, they break very easy. Yes, they do. Can't defend that. They break very, very easily. And people say, well, how do you stop them getting breaking? You get better at flying them. That's it. Yeah, the more better you get, the more time you spend flying them, the less they get broken. People like Dylan have been flying birds of prey to remote control planes, spur wing and roco, and he will tell you it's a very good way of getting your bird fit. Now the bird we're flying next is the sister, I believe, Dylan? The sister of the bird that just won. Brother. Same thing, interbred and all that. You've got to excuse me, I've just been given the mic instead of actually filming. So the demonstration of rope, obviously there's a few safety things. It's very, very easy, the safety talk. If everyone looks at me, I will demonstrate safety measures. You ready? Big black crow coming towards you. That's it. Yeah, don't look at it and think, that's flying really fast. That's getting bigger, because it's going to hit you. And when it hits you, it hurts. So if it is actually coming out of you, or the bird does take it above you, please don't just stand in front of it. Please move, because it's going to be. Same as if the bird is chasing it, it might come towards you, the bird might come around the back of the house. Again, if you're looking at the bird and thinking the bird is getting bigger and bigger, duck, yeah? So the roco, here we go. So as you can see, the roco is a remote controlled bird. It is exactly the same as using a drone or the bullets you've just been demonstrating. It's a way of training the bird, so exactly the same things, fly the bird into the wind, fly the roco into the wind. So you have a pilot, which is Henry, and you have a slipper, exactly the same. The idea is, you show the bird the roco by taking the hood straight away, and you want the bird to react straight away, which is what it's doing. You want to pull the bird up. Now this is a very awkward area to fly because we have trees, so we've got to take the roco very high to start off with. But you can see the roco is kept in front of the bird. It's like a teasing effect, same with a drone, same with bullets. You want to basically make the bird about 10 metres behind the roco. You're pulling the bird up, pulling it up to the sky. Now, as you can imagine, you're chasing prey, but prey's not going to do what that roco does, which is why it's an effective method. We'll take the roco up to about 120 metres. That is the legal limit for drones and for multi-ton plane. You can see where it's stalling. Stalling at the moment is basically where the air pressure up there is pushing the roco back. But you can see the bird is beating its wings, it's trying to get after it. The roco, like I said, keep it slightly in front. There's not full power on the roco. The roco, as you can see, goes a lot faster. You're trying to bring the bird into it. You're trying to make an aerial battle. You're trying to make the bird think it's going to catch the roco at any time. So you want to do acrobatic as you can, keeping it about. Now you can see Henry is keeping it very close. Because he's doing a demonstration with this, it's a bit different. We're trying to keep it very close so you can see. Normally you take it quite a long way away to get to that 120. You see the bird very keen. Bird thinks he's going to catch. Look at the training method that is. Like I said to you, you can actually use the fitness of this bird to actually keep the bird in tip-top condition by just running it around like this. Now Henry's a very, very good pilot and he's making this look very easy. If you was to buy yourself a road crow, trust me, it doesn't end up as good as this. It really doesn't. I mean, you are laughing and that's probably people that have been trying to fly one, yeah? Yeah. They are a brilliant aid if you can fly it well. Myself, I can't actually fly one. Dylan shattered my dreams by saying, come on, dyslexic, I'm never going to fly one. Let's took it in the air and brings it down safely. Now, what you want the bird is to react like he's on prey. You want the bird to grab each reward, which is what you do. And then everything else is exactly the same. The bear exchange and the reward the bird, exactly the same. Now, for those who've got really good eyesight, you can see the bird is not even gassed out. Very fit bird. Slightly different design. On the bird wing, it's bigger and the engine is mounted on the top. With a roco, the engine is mounted at the bottom. The bird we're going to fly is called beef jerky. I'm going to try it out. Well, Henry, why is it called beef jerky? There you go, because it's a jerky and stuck beef before it. Beef jerky. They did have some very weird names in the races this year. I normally stick to cartoon characters, but they outdone me. The name of their team was Never Heard of You, which is quite fitting, really. Okay, so there's the bird ring. As you can see, it's a tow plate, so it tows the lure behind it. It has a full parachute, same as a drone. The idea of this is the bird catches it, brings the parachute down to earth. The advantage of this is it's a little bit faster. The disadvantage is anyone who flies a drone will know you do not know where that parachute is going to be brought down. It's not on a line like you can with a drone, this is taking the air. Same thing again then. Bird takes to the air. Now people who fly road crows and bird wings, they say the bird wing is more difficult to fly. I don't know, I would never know that myself. Is that true, Dylan? It depends on the wind, there you go. Same into the wind, exactly, so principle, look that high there, then you come back. So what you're looking for is the bird now, where is the bird? It's not right underneath it there. Again, this isn't actually what we do, we normally try and drag the bird up, because we've got the trees either side, we're trying to actually give you the best demonstration we can, which is taking the bird really high. So this bird.
Let's see what he does. We've got to get the wind blowing towards you guys. So he's 7 years old. It's took him, last 4 years before he just started to look like a bald eagle with a white head and a white tail. And it took really 6 years for him to really turn into a bald eagle. His eyes were dark, his beak was grey and black, his feathers were brown and speckly. Don't get any better, mate. Yeah. Oh, that poor thing is chained down. It's to fly. Chained down all day. It was ready to fly. Cuts off. Sky's there. Right. And he's just thinking, why? Go on, I'm going to
So we've got jackdaws and red clubs, they're not a problem. We have an epic problem in the spring now and the summer. Buzzards that breed all over this state, and they breed in every plot. And they think our eagles and our vultures on the soar are going to come and eat their children pre-fledged. And they come out. If you've ever seen a buzzard stoop from a speck, it'll put a poem to shame, I reckon. They're just as good. And they hit a bald eagle that weighs 8 pounds and hits him so hard it looks like the bald eagle has actually been shot and has knocked him out of the sky twice. You know how annoying that must be for us. It makes our birds stay low. It makes them stay low. But look at that design. So it's a Chilean blue eagle buzzard. It's blue, it starts out brown. It's a buzzard, much more related to a buzzard, but it's the size of an eagle with the feet of an eagle. And I ain't telling you where it comes from. Have you ever seen a wing design on a bird like that? It looks tailless, but it isn't. Its tail short, but its secondaries are so deep. It's absolutely amazing. Now
This guy would never do displays, he used to shy away. And then he said, I want to do displays, Dave, at home. And I said, he just doesn't like a big crowd, I'm just thinking of the customers. I think my experience, Dave, he's put a lot of time into this bird. And I have to say, this summer, yeah, cheers to my eyes. So the job she's now is 6 scale bust. If she busts, the bird's going to come down low. Well, if you come back with a height, that's it. Then when you go, unless you got that height, it's a myth. And the way people say it's a myth, just grow a pair and turn upside down and show your talent, for God's sake. Come on. This is your territory too. Okay, got some rights. And everyone just cover their children's ears and smell. What am I saying? 20 years ago, to see a red kite in a Vulture, you'd have died. Come on, Emily. Come on, Emily. I don't think you're going to get better. Watch this bird, please. Give that a round of applause. It wasn't as high as it could have been, but you get the idea. Imagine 1,000 feet on that bird in the mountains with hares in the olden days, or rabbits running below.